You never notice a handgun mistake when you're still in the shop. Not when you're counting cash, not when the clerk is nodding, not even when you first hit the range. It sneaks up slow. One day, you're adjusting your holster for the 10th time, telling yourself it's no big deal. Next day, you're reaching for a refund that isn't coming. Or worse, a backup you trust even less. Most shooters would rather eat their own hat than admit they blew it. I know, because I've sat silent, watching the same tough guys who laughed at rookie mistakes end up making excuses nobody buys. These are the handguns that keep burning real shooters. Sometimes right away, sometimes months down the line. It isn't just beginners. Over time, even seasoned hands get caught off guard by a detail nobody warned them about. Every one of these stories costs someone more than they'd admit. Last one, the mistake still stings. Don't look away. The error you dodged tonight could be waiting for you next week. My friend Bob didn't rush, he just knew the drill. Springfield Echelon, fresh out the box, no nerves, no bragging. He never read the manual shit. He slid the manual aside, loaded snap caps, and started his usual dry fire run. It's just another striker, he said, half smiling, the way guys do when they've done this 100 times. Everything about the Echelon looked familiar. Controls where you expect them, slide as smooth as the others. Trigger braking about the same. That's what fooled him. A couple of weeks later, something subtle went sideways. No loud click, no jam, nothing dramatic, just a pause mid-draw, like muscle memory tripped over a detail he didn't know he missed. Bob's hands froze, eyes went cold, and he stood there, gun pointed safe, but everything about him different. Modern pistols are slick enough to feel like old friends, right up until they slip you a curveball nobody warned you about. That night, Bob didn't say much. He just nodded, loaded up, and started over from page 1. New pistols don't forgive assumptions. They punish them quietly. A few days ago, I saw there was a guy on Quora raving about his new CZP-10C. First range trip, he was all smiles. Grip locked in, trigger smooth, recoil easy. He posted that he'd finally found the one. Second trip, same high. But the third time, it was a different story. Longer session, hotter day, hands starting to sweat, grip pressure changing. His groups began to drift off target. He blamed the ammo, blamed fatigue, told himself he was just having an off day. But week after week, the same thing kept happening, comfort slipping away the longer he shot. He kept making excuses, said it must be bad range luck. Maybe he just needed a break. Eventually, he faced it. The pistol that felt perfect at first was quietly wearing him down over time. Here's the thing. In my opinion, it is one of the best guns out there. But a few folks hit this wall, and the letdown is slow, never dramatic, just enough to sting. Feeling right doesn't mean being right. Comfort hides flaws you won't see until they matter. Last I checked, he never said he sold it. He just stopped talking about it. There's a guy I used to see at the range. Even a few months ago, same lane, same hour, Beretta APX A1 always in hand. Every session looked like a slow-motion checklist. Grip a little higher, thumb moved, elbow out. He'd squeeze off a few, pause, shake out his hand, and start over. Never a complaint. Just this endless loop of self-tuning, as if the right combination would finally unlock something that had been missing all along. One evening, his APX A1 went down for cleaning, so he borrowed a full size from the rental counter. Nothing fancy, just something to pass the time. First magazine in, he looked almost surprised. Shoulders dropped, arms relaxed. No more coaching himself after every shot. Yeah, the gun just ran, and he just shot. After a while, he stood there quiet, then shook his head and said, "That felt easy." He hadn't been getting better with the APX A1. He'd just been compensating, working harder and harder to overcome quirks he never blamed on the gun. You don't see how hard you're working until you finally stop. The regret lingers. Ray's the delivery guy at our building, the kind who's never in a rush, but always on the move. We'd catch each other during smoke breaks, half talking guns, half watching for supervisors. He swore by his Ruger Security 9. Not because it was fancy or the best, but because it's never let me down, not once. I'd ask if he ever thought about upgrading. He'd just shrug. It works. Why fix what isn't broke? Weeks rolled by. One night, I found Ray outside, looking shaken. Said he'd had a run-in in the parking lot, sketchy figures, late delivery, hand on his pistol, every muscle tense. Nothing went wrong, nobody drew. But after, he couldn't shake the feeling. I kept thinking, what if tonight was the night it mattered? His voice was tight, not cocky, not sure. He realized in that parking lot, trust wasn't just about the gun never failing at the range. It was about never doubting, not even for a second, when it mattered. Ray still carries his security 9, but that confidence, it's not as easy now. Trust isn't the absence of failure. It's the absence of doubt. Some mistakes only show up under pressure. Others hide in plain sight until a trusted name or a familiar badge has you lowering your guard all over again. There's an old friend of my dad's, retired cop, put more rounds downrange than most people ever will. His HKUSP looks beat to hell, but he handles it the same way he handles a coffee mug. Calm, casual, everything muscle memory, years in uniform, hundreds of quals. He's earned the right to be confident. Nobody ever questioned his routine, neither did he. One afternoon, he was field stripping the USP at his kitchen table, TV murmuring in the background. He racked the slide, thumbed the safety, then paused just for a second. Something about the sequence felt too easy. No tension, no double check, just smooth motions. He set the pistol down, stared at it, and went quiet. Then he shook his head and muttered, "That could have gone bad." Nothing happened. That's the part that rattled him. All that experience. And for a second he was coasting, assuming he was immune to rookie mistakes. The most dangerous moment is when you stop respecting it. This isn't a beginner's problem. It's what happens when you think experience is enough. The next regret, that's what creeps in when you stop noticing the little things entirely. Last Christmas, I was grabbing a milk bottle from the corner grocery when I caught a group of 3 guys outside, gossiping loud about handguns. The talk circled around the Walther PDP Full Size. One of them, Nate, couldn't stop hyping it up. Said it made him shoot faster and flatter than anything else. His friends ribbed him, but he just grinned and bragged about his split times and tight groups. In the middle of all the chest thumping, Nate paused. "You know," he said, "yesterday I was running drills, moving fast, and for a second I fumbled the holster. Wasn't even shooting. Just caught myself rushing. I felt stupid." He admitted, almost laughing it off, "I was treating it like a race tool, not a responsibility." The others shrugged and went right back to debating speed and brands. Nate went quiet, just standing there with his grocery bag. Funny how great performance can hide bad habits. Most shooters will argue that point all day until something real goes wrong. Nobody sees it coming. But the warning's there, whether you want to believe it or not. And if you think you're safe because you've seen it all, wait till you hear about the bonus, where every rule and regret comes crashing together. I've watched this kid at my range for months. Never stops talking, always got the latest top 5 list memorized. One day he walks in, waving a Glock 43X MOS, grinning like he's just solved concealed carry for everyone and didn't even test it. He just said, "Man, everyone's running these now. Had to get one." The way he talked, you'd think popularity was proof. For a while, it looked like he was right. He'd post photos, call out anyone still carrying old steel, brag about how thin his holster rode. Then something changed. One afternoon, he's quiet. I catch him shaking out his hand after a rapid mag dump, wincing like he's hiding it. Next week, he's swapping mags at the bench, cursing under his breath, ammo rolling everywhere. Didn't hear him hype the 43X after that. He finally blurted, "I just followed the crowd. Never really asked what worked for me." Popularity hides a lot of bad decisions. In the end, nobody else carries your regret but you. And this one, he's still wearing it long after the group chat moved on. Funny thing, sometimes it's not the crowd that steers you wrong. Sometimes it's the one gun you swore you'd never trust again, sneaking right back into your life for one last lesson. I'll be straight, I've owned the Taurus G3C twice. First time, the price sucked me in. Seemed like a steal. Ran smooth out of the box. Then it jammed on me. Not once, twice, both times, it hit out of nowhere. That feeling you get when a carry gun locks up, you can't shake it. I sold it, figured I'd move on, but months later I kept thinking about it. Maybe I got unlucky, maybe I was too hard on it, so I picked up another. The second one felt the same at first. Light, easy to carry, didn't give me a reason to doubt, until I remembered what happened before. Every magazine, a little voice in the back of my head, just waiting. I tried getting some help, reached out for support, but got nowhere. No answers, no fixes. When a gun's let you down and the company leaves you hanging, you feel alone with your mistake. Mine jammed twice. Maybe yours never will, but once that trust breaks, you never forget, and that doubt never really leaves. Buying the same gun again doesn't reset the mistake. You just end up living with it twice. Nobody ever thinks they're the one making pistol mistakes until it hits hard and there's no easy fix. Doesn't matter if you've carried for years or just picked up your first handgun. Pride, cash, and trust all get burned the same way. I've seen it, I've lived it, and the stories I keep quiet are usually the ones that sting the longest. If you've had a handgun lesson that cost you money, reputation, or a scar that doesn't fade, drop it below. Don't just share the wins. Sometimes it's the bruises that help the next guy dodge trouble. Don't think you're safe just because you made it this far. Next week's mistake never looks like one today. That's the ugly truth about handguns. There's always a new lesson waiting. I'm Steve. Stay sharp, keep doubting your gear, and I'll see you in the next round.